It's time for America Outdoors Radio, the show that covers the outdoor scene across the U.S. of A. and the entire continent. Fishing, hunting, conservation, outdoor recreation, and great destinations. We cover it all every week. It's your country, your outdoors. Let's explore it together with your host, John Cruz.
Today's top story comes to you from the Kansas City Star, which carries a report of two guys out for a day of fly fishing for stripers, and they hooked into something a whole lot bigger than that. The men, identified only as Matt and Jason, were fishing Tennessee's Caney Fork River when Matt hooked into something big. That was no striper at all. The fish in question turned out to be a massive paddlefish that measured over 5 feet long and weighed 55 pounds. The prehistoric-looking long-nosed fish towed Matt and Jason in their boat a good half-mile before they were able to finally boat the fish. I'm happy to report that fish was quickly photographed and released to tow another boat on another day. This week on America Outdoors Radio, we get to chat with Chuck Adams. He's a trophy big game bow hunter who has bagged 200 record book animals and completed the 29-animal North American Grand Slam. He'll be joining us today from his home state in Wyoming to tell you how he got into bow hunting and about his brand new website you really should check out at chuckadamsarchery.com. We'll also talk to Hank Shaw. I think he's my favorite wild fish and game chef, and he's back with another brand new book, and this one is all about seafood. The book is Hook, Line, and Supper, and Hank will not only share what's inside this book, but I plan on pinning him down as to what his favorite fish are to catch and eat, and that includes both fresh and saltwater species. Another guest we'll talk to today is Serena Yuknowski. She's a petite 22-year-old woman from Ohio, and she's a far better shooter than I'll ever be. And not only that, I'd wager she can outshoot you too. You see, Serena's a competitive shooter specializing in AR-15 and long-range rifle shooting contests. She's a journalist too, who has a column in American Handgunner magazine. I got to meet her heading out to the range at SHOT Show in Las Vegas the last time we had one of those events, and I'm really excited to talk with her again. All right, it being the month of May, I think it's high time for another giveaway, and this one is our Range Day giveaway, brought to you by our friends at Henry Repeating Arms. Now, Henry doesn't just sell wonderful American-made firearms with a lifetime satisfaction guarantee. No, they also sell accessories for those firearms, and we're going to be giving away several of them over Memorial Day weekend as part of our Range Day giveaway. One lucky person is going to get an ammo box with a Henry logo on it, a set of Otis Ear Shield hearing protectors with that same logo, 12 Henry branded gun oil wipes, a set of paper targets, and a great looking ball cap with a Henry logo on it too. If you own a .22 caliber rifle, especially a .22 caliber lever action rifle from Henry Repeating Arms, you will love this giveaway package. All you have to do to enter is go to our Facebook page at America Outdoors Radio. Step 1, like and follow the Facebook page. Step 2, just look for the post thread where we're doing the giveaway and let us know what city and state you're from. If you want a bonus entry, let us know what station you're tuning into, and we will pick a winner on Memorial Day, and that person will win the Range Day giveaway. By the way, if you want to see these accessories and more from Henry Repeating Arms, just go to their website at henryusa.com. That's henryusa.com. And don't forget to ask for your free catalog and decals while you're there. Continuing with giveaways, we've got another one to tell you about right now. I've got to tell you about something I think you're going to be interested in, especially if you were an angler. Lowrance, that company based in Tulsa, Oklahoma, that's been making fish finders and more since 1957, has got an ultimate fishing system giveaway promotion going on right now. And with us here to tell you more from Lowrance is Scott Fordyce. Scott, great to have you on the show.
Thanks for having me, John. Excited to be here.
So, Scott, why don't you tell our listeners about this giveaway that's going on right now from Lowrance?
So, John, we're excited to kick off the Ultimate Fishing System giveaway. And what this is it's a bit of a rebate tied into a giveaway. And so for any customer that purchases our top-of-the-line Lowrance HDS Alive product, they will receive a free CMAP Reveal Lakes chart card. That's a $170 value for an incredible charting card. And these are new chart cards from CMAP, which is a sister brand to the Lowrance product. And so we're really excited to offer that to consumers, and each customer can pick the chart card that's right for their territory across the country and in Canada as well. But then also there is a giveaway portion of this. So anyone who purchases a Live and claims their free chart card will be entered in the giveaway. One grand prize winner will win a free HDS Live 12, as well as a weekend fishing trip with the hosts of the Next Bite TV show, and that is Gary and Chase Parsons. There will also be 5 winners of an HDS Live fish finder with our Active Imaging 3-in-1 transducer. So a lot of opportunities for guys to win, and that runs through June 30th.
Oh, this sounds like a fantastic giveaway. I really like this. So before we go any further, let's talk about the HDS Live. Now, I've got a Lowrance Hook Reveal 7, and I love it, and my fishing partner does too. It's really upped our game going from our previous old school fish finder, but the HDS Live, this isn't only a couple steps up. This is like the creme de la creme of fish fighters out there, isn't it?
It really is, John. HDS Live is Lowrance's premier product. It is the top of the line. What's great about Lowrance is we do have a great product for everyone based on your needs and your budget, but HDS Live is at the top of that list. What's great about HDS Live is it is a complete system. There is no limitation to the networking. If you want 2, 3, 4 units connected together, we can do that easily, connecting in radars, all types of sonars. Any transducer you want to connect to these units can be connected, networked, and shared, including the new Active Target transducer, which is our latest live technology. Our ghost trolling motor plays into it. What's great about HDS Live is it is 100% touchscreen. It is 100% push button, which means there's 2 ways to do everything. So if you're a guy that loves touchscreen, great. If you love push buttons, great. 2 ways to do everything makes it a very flexible and intuitive product. It's also very customizable, from changing the image on the background of your screen, just like we do on our smartphones and tablets, to setting up the size of the edit overlay, depth, for example, depth and water temp. So when we put those numbers on, they're relatively small. And if you're 10 feet away from your fish finder and you can't see that small depth, we actually allow you to edit the size of those. And not only the size, we can make it a big, extra large number. So when we're 10 feet away, we can easily see that. You can also move that data anywhere you want. So customizing the unit based on your needs, it's really a flexible, customizable system so that you can make it work for your specific needs.
You literally have me salivating for an HDS Live right now. Okay, so let's talk about how to enter. Obviously, step 1, you purchase an HDS Live. Step 2, you submit a rebate claim, and is this how you get your CMAP Reveal Lakes chart, and how do you enter into the giveaway?
That's exactly right. So if you go to Lowrance.com and if you click on offers, the first offer we're going to show you is this Ultimate Fishing System giveaway. To enter the program, you're basically claiming your free chart card. You'll plug in your information, prove your purchase, and we will send the card that you've selected out to you, and that will automatically enter you into the giveaway.
All right. And I should also mention, folks, that no purchase is necessary to be eligible for the Ultimate Fishing System giveaway drawing portion of the promotion. That would be the opportunity to go fishing with Gary and Chase Parsons from the Next Bite TV show. You can just go to the Lowrance website and look for this promotion for further details. In the meantime, if you want to find out more about the HDS Live and this promotion and all the other great products Lowrance has, the website to go to is Lowrance, Lowrance. That's Lowrance.com. Check out the Ultimate Fishing System giveaway promotion. It's going on through June 30th. Check out everything else they have to offer and look for a dealer near you. Scott, thanks for sharing this with us today.
Thanks, John.
my book at Sportsman's Cove Lodge?
Why is Alaska like no other place on Earth? It hasn't changed in thousands of years.
From the way you get here on a float plane to the way you go out with the guides and the boats, it's just a professional experience.
And I said, this is as good as it gets. I said, if you can't catch fish here, you can't catch fish anywhere.
Your experience with us will leave you speechless.
Book now at alaskasbestlodge.com.
The Dalles in Oregon is your base camp for fishing fun. Reel in big salmon, tangle with steelhead, bass, and walleye, or wrestle a monster sturgeon to the boat. After the day is done, you'll find a variety of lodging options around town. Need to resupply? We've got you covered with sporting goods stores plus great dining, breweries, wineries, and can't-miss attractions like the Gorge Discovery Center. Plan your fishing getaway today at explorethedalles.com. That's explorethedalles.com.
Are you looking to reel in the marketing opportunity of a lifetime? Then set the hook, because we've got it right here for you. America Outdoors Radio has sponsorships available, and we offer affordable platforms to reach thousands of listeners interested in fishing, hunting, and the outdoors. Find out more by contacting John Cruz through his website at AmericaOutdoorsRadio.com. That's AmericaOutdoorsRadio.com. Hurry, though. If you wait too long, the big opportunity might get away.
Backcountry Hunters and Anglers is the voice for your public lands, waters, and wildlife. From the Canadian Yukon to the Florida Everglades, we're stepping up to conserve North America's public lands, defend our hunting and fishing traditions, and expand public access to the outdoors. Our outdoor heritage depends on sportsmen and women like you speaking up for the natural resources that sustain our way of life. Find out how you can get involved at backcountryhunters.org and become a BHA member today.
You're back in with America Outdoors Radio. I'm John Cruz. I am holding a book in my hand from my favorite wild game chef. His name is Hank Shaw. The newest book, Hook, Line, and Supper. And we've got Hank on the line. Hank, welcome to the show, and congratulations on hitting a home run with this brand new cookbook.
Thank you so much. It's great to be back on the show.
Well, it's always a pleasure to have you. This is your first book about, well, just seafood recipes. You've had buck, moose, duck, goose, pheasant, quail, cottontail, obviously all focused on game species. But here you are hauling stuff out of the rivers, out of the lakes, and out of the sea, and you've got some fantastic recipes to enjoy. Why don't you give our listeners a little bit more of an overview of what they'll find inside here?
Hook, Line, and Supper is kind of the work of a lifetime, because I've been fishing and gathering things from the seashore since I was a little toddler. And I've been doing it all over the country and all through Canada and even parts of Mexico. And it's such a huge topic that it took me a long time to synthesize so that it would be as useful for someone in the Pacific Northwest as it would be for someone in Louisiana or Iowa or Ontario. So the book is structured in a way that you need to kind of check your species at the door and talk more about what fish really are. Are they lean white fish? Are they orange fish like salmon and kokanee and trout and things? Are they fatty fish? Are they big fish and little fish? So the structure of the fish itself is more important from a cook's perspective than the actual species, because, well, sure, there are definitely differences between all the different salmons, for example. None of them really are going to ruin a dish if you have one in a bother. So it's kind of a codex, a master class in all fish and seafood cookery, as opposed to something that's very, very specific about any given part of the region or country.
That is a really great way to look at fish and cooking them. I'd never thought of it that way before, but you're absolutely right. However, having said that, I do want to get a little bit into the mind of Hank Shaw and ask you some questions. When it comes to your favorite freshwater fish to catch and eat, what is it and why?
Well, it's got to be a toss-up between kokanee and burbot. Burbot, it's a freshwater codfish. It's also known as an eel pout or a mariah or a lawyer fish. And they are gross looking, but they're absolutely delicious. And most people hate them, but I have a soft spot for them. They're kind of the opossums of the lakes, and I think they're tasty. I think they're really delicious, and I think people should eat more of them. Now, if you're going to talk about a glamour fish, I would say a kokanee.
Oh yes.
Kokanee is Of all of the orange fish that live in fresh water, I would say kokanee would be my favorite. Now, I will admit, catching kokanee is not exactly the most thrilling thing on the planet, but eating them certainly is.
You know, I would agree. And given the fact that sockeye salmon are probably the most prized salmon from a table fare point of view by a lot of anglers, the fact that kokanee are landlocked sockeye salmon makes perfect sense. Same question for saltwater fish. Is it going to be halibut, lingcod, or something else?
Yeah, it's something else for sure. I mean, I like lingcod and halibut. They're fine. But if you had to nail me down, I would probably say either a yellowtail jack or a white sea bass.
Interesting. Go on.
So the reason why both of those are top on the list is because A, they're big, B, they're fun to catch, C, they're delicious because they're both fatty in their own way. The white sea bass is the closest thing that swims in American waters to the famous Chilean sea bass, which is really the Patagonian toothfish that lives in deep water down close to Antarctica. But the white sea bass is really a drum. It's the Pacific Coast's version of a redfish, but it couldn't be more different. I mean, they are fatty but not too fatty, firm but not too firm, white but not too white, and they're just a dream fish. And the yellowtail jack, they are the best fish, in my opinion, to eat raw. I mean, they are the king of sushi. It's hamachi if you go to a sushi place.
I didn't know that, but thank you for educating me. Speaking of which, in this book, you also cover ceviche and other methods of preparing fish raw that, you know, I've only recently discovered myself in the last couple of years, but man, oh man, it's tasty.
Absolutely. I mean, there's a whole section on raw and how to do it safely, too, because that's important. Nobody wants a weight loss buddy, which is what we like to call tapeworms. So you want to do everything safe and not get any parasites or get sick or anything. So I walk you through that. I walk through an entire big section on curing fish. So salting and smoking and even fish charcuterie, like a fish terrine or sausages. And it really is kind of a nose to tail, you know, soup to nuts, you know, entirely free from geographic boundaries kind of a book.
You're listening to America Outdoors Radio. We're talking to Hank Shaw, the author of Hook, Line, and Supper, a brand new cookbook that's all about techniques and recipes for everything you can catch in lakes, rivers, streams, and in the sea. One thing I really like about this book is the international flavors that you bring to it, whether it's a Spanish fish stew or whether it's a clay pot recipe from Asia. A lot of different tastes that you can enjoy here besides, well, just Middle American.
Yeah, I mean, I do this with all my books, and it's interesting because when I research these things, what I'm looking for are methods. And so there are methods of cooking X, Y, or Z, no matter what the subject is for the book, that certain countries just do better than we do. And so we'd be foolish to not adopt and pick up those tips and tricks that those other countries have to offer us. One really cool one that I've been really enjoying with this book is kind of a tamale. So it's called a mextlapique, and it's from Mexico. Uh-huh. And it uses the corn husks the same way, you know, everybody's had tamales, and it's masa wrapped in corn husks and steamed, right? Well, this uses the corn husks to cook the fish. So you basically make, you know, a lot of you may have had like that fish in parchment, empapillote with your pinky in the air kind of thing.
Right.
And it's basically fish cooked in parchment. Well, this is sort of like that, except it uses a simple corn husk, and you put the fish inside with whatever else that you want. You can totally freestyle on this thing. And then you make these little packets, and you put them on the grill, which is even cooler. So you get kind of smoky, you get that corn flavor, and then the fish is perfectly cooked inside, and everyone has this sort of Christmas present out of the fish with salsa or whatever it is that you want, and you get to open it right on your plate and eat it. And it's the coolest tip or trick that I have picked up throughout this book. It's easy, it's fun, and it's really versatile.
Oh, you know, the problem is every time I get you on the show, within 10 minutes, I'm absolutely famished. And you've done it to me again, Hank. We are starting to run out of time, but before we go, we have to let people know how they can get a copy of Hook, Line, and Supper. And we've got to do a shout out for your partner, Holly Heiser. She does the best job photographing food. And folks, this is a really, really hard thing to do, is to photograph food and make it look good. That's an art into itself, isn't it, Hank?
She's really good. I mean, we have more photos in this book than any other book we've done, and I think even just as a picture book, I think you're going to enjoy it, let alone the recipes. You can get it really. I mean, I love the fact that you can get it wherever books are sold. Literally, I mean, you can get it at your local bookstore, you can get it on Amazon, and you can get it through my website, which is Hunter Angler Gardener Cook.
All right, Hunter Angler Gardener Cook. If they order it that way, can they get an autographed copy?
Indeed they can. So if you order it through my website, we will send you a signed copy.
Okay, that is Hunter Angler Gardener Cook.com. If you want an autographed copy of this brand new book, Hook, Line, and Supper. If you just want to get it fast or don't care how you get it, go to Amazon, look for it at a bookstore near you. I guarantee you, when it comes to cooking seafood, this is going to be your new go-to book. Hank, congratulations again, and thanks for sharing this with us today on America Outdoors Radio.
Thanks for having me on.
Campers, adventure seekers, hunters, and foodies. No matter the lifestyle, we can all agree on one thing. Great food and great people are worth remembering. At Camp Chef, we don't just make grills. We create each product knowing that a warm meal is always better when it's shared with those we love. Learn more about Camp Chef grills, smokers, and portable cooking equipment at campchef.com. That's campchef.com for a better way to cook outdoors.
Hunting and fishing are exercises in hope. Before you head into the woods, you hope to tag out on a deer you'll have to field dress. Before you make that first cast, you hope for a big fish to clean and fillet. When your hopes are realized, you'll need a sharp knife. Whether you sharpen that blade on a power sharpener in the shop or a manual sharpener in the field, WorkSharp has the tool for you. Look for WorkSharp products in sporting goods stores near you or online at WorkSharpTools.com.
Next up on America Outdoors Radio, we've got Serena Juchnowski on the line. Now, she's only 22 years old, but she is a highly regarded competitive shooter. She's also a media member. She's a columnist for the American Handgunner magazine, and she's also the digital editor for the Firearms Marketing Group, and she is joining us today from the great state of Ohio. Serena, great to have you on the air.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity.
You know, one other thing we should mention is you just became a member of Team Sierra. I presume this is a competitive shooting team for Sierra Bullets. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Yes. So actually, Sierra Bullets has been a great sponsor of junior shooters, kids under 21, as well as sponsoring high-level shooters across different disciplines. I've been really, really happy to be selected to be on their team this year, which means that I not only represent the brand, but also encourage people to become more involved in competitive shooting, learn more about reloading and what accuracy can do. It's one of those things where every shooter's dream is to become sponsored, and I'm very fortunate that I do have a few other sponsors. This is a huge step for me, though, to be on a national level team. So I don't really have teammates per se in the respect that we compete together, but teammates in promoting the shooting sports across the country and across many different disciplines.
Oh, I think it's fantastic. And for what it's worth, competitive shooters are not the only ones hoping for sponsors. So are professional bass anglers and outdoors radio show hosts, too. Just so you know out there, folks. All right, Serena, let's talk a little bit about being a competitive shooter. Now, you've probably done it since you had a lollipop in your mouth as a 3-year-old kid. Let's talk about your story about how you grew into a competitive shooter. Did it start in junior high or high school?
Actually, in high school, I definitely was not the 3-year-old girl on the range like a lot of people think. I was never really too much into the outdoors or into firearms until I was in high school. I was looking for more of a community. I had played soccer and softball and really didn't have a place that I felt like I fit, that I had people that I really connected to that were around my age. And when I was in 8th grade, just finishing up, so around 14, 15, somewhere in there, a man by the name of Chuck Malone, who was pretty much my grandfather, came over at our house with a .22. And I had shot BB guns before, and I absolutely hated it because I wasn't strong enough to pump it. So The first thing, they pulled me out of the house. I was doing homework, and they're like, hey, would you like to shoot this? And I looked at them, and I said, if I have to pump this thing, then absolutely not. And so they're like, no, you just do this and you pull the trigger. And I said, why in the world did you never show me this before? This would have been so much more fun. So they started me off in the backyard. They put a small chicken silhouette, not an actual chicken, but a small steel target, about the size of a $50, about 25 yards away, which is still a really, it's definitely not an easy shot, especially for the first shots you really ever take.
I was going to say, go on.
And instead of having me lay prone on the ground or shoot off a bench, I didn't realize this was weird till later because I never had the experience, but they taught me to shoot offhand. No shooting code or anything. They told me about the importance of triangles and establishing a good position, told me where to put my feet, of course instructed me in firearm safety, and said, all right, pull the trigger. So I pulled the trigger, and the chicken swinger went flying. And I'll never forget, I turned around, and my dad's looking at me with the most bewildered look on his face and shoving another .22 round in my face, telling me to shoot it again. I'm sitting there going, isn't that what you wanted? I don't understand why you seem so confused. Only to find out later, and I proceeded to hit it another couple of times, that I had some natural ability and they didn't expect me to hit it at all.
That is a great story. So fast forward to your, later high school and college, and you're competing all over the nation as a shooter. Are you mainly specializing in long-range shooting?
I actually only started long range last year. I haven't had to travel too much because the national matches for the disciplines that I compete in happen to also be in Ohio. They're held at Camp Perry. I started formally in 2015 competing in high-power service rifle, which is an AR-15 at 200, 300, and 600 yards. And I actually didn't compete for a college or anything like that because colleges don't have high-power teams. They don't want their students shooting AR-15s. It's just not something that they do now.
I get that.
So
okay.
I chose to go to college close to home so that I could come home and compete on the weekends. Long range I started into last year, so I'm a member of the developmental U.S. Young Eagles Palma team. So basically it's for kids under 25 to represent the U.S., hopefully in the World Shoot in South Africa in 2023. So I've been working on learning how to shoot Palma, which is 800, 900, and 1,000 yards. It's all prone shooting with a 308 and iron sights. So for that, I use a Krieger barrel, Kelbley's Action, and a Masterclass copy stock.
Wow. Serena, call me impressed. Again, folks, we're talking to Serena Juchnowski. She is a long-range and high-power competitive shooter who, as you just heard, came to the sport late, considering she's only 22 years old, and she is now on a national stage competing at a very high level. She's also a columnist for American Handgunner magazine and the digital editor for Firearms Marketing Group. Let's talk a little bit about getting into the sport, because personally, I know how to shoot. I don't consider myself a great shot. There's some people that do consider themselves great shots and they want to get into competitive shooting, but it seems a little intimidating. You go to the range, there's a bunch of people with jerseys on that have sponsors on them, and they've got really expensive rifles. And how do you break into that without feeling overwhelmed?
That's definitely a great question, and the biggest thing I can say is find a mentor. You don't need to have tons of fancy equipment. You really don't need anything to get started except ear and eye protection and a good attitude. So when I started, it was by finding a junior team, or rather stumbling into a junior team that provided coaching and loaner equipment. And what I've discovered is no matter what discipline you choose to compete in, you will find people who are very, very generous and willing to both share their equipment with you, offer suggestions, loan you items, so that you can really decide what you need before making a big initial investment. And that's one thing that I think is so great about the shooting sports, is that there is something for everyone. Whether it's shotgun, whether it's 3-gun, whether it's rifle, pistol, there's so many different things that you can't really be bored. And that if, as you move on in the stages of life, whether you're living in a certain area where you don't have access to certain things, there's always something different that you can pursue. Don't get bogged down by sponsors or things like that. There's actually a lot of sports that don't have huge sponsorships. For example, the sports that I compete in, there are very few sponsored shooters. So that's why it's also such a huge deal for me, because when I go to the range, there aren't people with jerseys all over.
Well, this is good to know. Now, there are a number of organizations that get youth into the shooting sports, but you're an adult now, and there's a lot of adults listening today. For adults who want to get in, do you have some suggestions in terms of organizations to go to, or should they just go down to the local gun or trap club, and maybe that's their first way to get into it?
any number of ways. The best thing that I think I would recommend doing is looking to the competitions division of the Civilian Marksmanship Program or the National Rifle Association. There's also other governing bodies like USA Shooting or Scholastic Shooting Sports Foundation, though that's geared a little bit more towards kids.
Sure.
Any of those organizations, even if they're geared towards kids, will be willing to steer you in the right direction. Because at the end of the day, it's all about getting more people involved in marksmanship. So never be afraid to reach out to someone to call. CMP is probably the very best resource, especially when it comes to more stationary rifle and pistol competition. Any one of those people can point you in the right direction and get you connected with a range or a person who can mentor you or get you the information that you need.
And CMP, folks, again, stands for the Civilian Marksmanship Program. It's been around for a long time. We've had representatives on the show before. And if you want to get into the shooting sports, that's a great organization to go through, or the other ones Serena mentioned, or, like I said, just about every town or county has got a range or a gun club or, maybe a trap shooting and skeet shooting club. Head on down there for one of their sociable shoots. You are going to find that folks are very welcoming. They're willing to share their knowledge. In some cases, they're willing to share their firearms too. They want to get you in the shooting sports, and I think you're going to have a great time if you do. Serena, thanks so much for sharing this with us, and congratulations on your continued success. We are loving it here at America Outdoors Radio.
Thank you. I hope you guys all have a great time going out to the range and learning more about marksmanship.
We've been telling you about Sportsman's Cove Lodge in Southeast Alaska for a while now, and there's a reason. They are the only Alaska lodge we talk about on this show. It's because they're truly Alaska's best lodge. The adventure starts with a float plane ride from Ketchikan, after which you'll get the chance to experience some of the best hospitality, food, and wonderful people you'll ever meet. Wildlife is abundant, from bears and deer to eagles and whales, and let's not forget the reason you're here, the fishing. Halibut, salmon, lingcod, rockfish, true cod, and more. It's all waiting for you in abundance at Sportsman's Cove Lodge. Book your trip today at alaskasbestlodge.com. That's alaskasbestlodge.com for Sportsman's Cove Lodge.
Ready to step up to a quality-built rifle or shotgun that's a true classic? Check out Henry Repeating Arms, American-made. There's over 200 models to choose from in a variety of finishes and calibers for hunters and target shooters. Many of these are lever-action models with a look right out of the Old West. Don't be deceived, though. Henry Repeating Arms are modern, rugged, accurate, reliable, and have a lifetime guarantee. Find out more and order a free catalog today at henryusa.com. That's henryusa.com.
The election is over, and this is not another political ad. But with a change in president, there is uncertainty. Uncertainty in the market. Will it be up or will it be down? Uncertainty on how the new administration will handle taxes for your retirement. A new report states that the Biden administration may take away key tax benefits to traditional retirement plans. But what if there was a better way? A way to save for retirement tax-free? We can help business owners, freelancers, and regular working folks get on track with their retirement without risk and without taxes. For more information, get your no-cost tax-free retirement income strategy guide now by calling 888-585-1615. That's 888-585-1615. Find out how sound investment principles can give you a retirement where you eliminate the spend down of your savings and create more income for your retirement tax-free. Call today and get the free guide. 888-585-1615. That's 888-585-1615. Call now. 888-585-1615.
Looking to reel in the marketing opportunity of a lifetime? Then set the hook, because we've got it right here. America Outdoors Radio has sponsorships available, and we offer an affordable platform to reach thousands of listeners interested in fishing, hunting, and the outdoors. Find out more by contacting host John Cruz through his website at AmericaOutdoorsRadio.com. That's AmericaOutdoorsRadio.com. But hurry, if you wait too long, this big opportunity might just get away. That's AmericaOutdoorsRadio.com.
This portion of the show was brought to you by our friends at WorkSharp. They're the fine folks out of Ashland, Oregon, who make knife and tool sharpeners that you can use, whether you're hunting or fishing or camping, or maybe in your shop, maybe in your kitchen, for all of the knives and tools you need sharpened every day when you work and play. WorkSharp tools can be found online at worksharptools.com, or You can find them in sporting goods stores and hardware stores all over our great nation. Just look for Work Sharp products to sharpen your knives and your tools, because nothing is worse than trying to get the job done right with a dull blade. Welcome back to America Outdoors Radio. I'm John Cruz. Our next stop is the cowboy state of Wyoming. We're talking to Chuck Adams. He's the man who wears the green beanie, and he is one of the most successful and best known big game trophy animal bow hunters in North America, with 200 record book animals taken. He's also an author, and I think it would be fair to say, a bit of a rock star in the bow hunting world. Chuck, it's great to have you on the air.
Thank you, John. It's great to be here.
So I'd like to start off kind of introducing you to our listeners, and I guess we're going to get to the origin story. How did you become a bow hunter?
Well, I grew up in a hunting family on the West Coast in California. Both of my grandfathers and my dad were avid rifle hunters, and they actually knew too many good spots and taught me too well. And by the time I was an early teenager, I was kind of sad because I only had 1 or 2 deer tags in California every year, and I usually filled those tags within a few days. So I would dream about hunting deer all year, and the fun was over in a few days. And so I took up bow hunting so I could hunt more and bag fewer animals in the process, just to expand my fun. And to this day, I'm the only bow hunter in my family. Everybody else still likes firearms the best.
Has hunting become a paying career in itself, or do you have a day job out there?
Well, I do. I've had a day job for several decades. The day job is writing magazine articles about bow hunting for various publications, doing seminars around the country at big sports shows, doing podcasts now, and a regular blog on my website, and TV appearances as well. So what I did was combine 2 things I love to do best, writing on the one hand and hunting on the other with a bow and arrow, into a very satisfying career.
Well, I love it. And I've got to tell you, congratulations on pulling off the incredible feat of being in the industry and then finding time to actually do the things that we love to talk about. That's the dirty secret of the outdoors industry, folks, is that most people that are in it don't get to hunt or fish nearly as much as you think we would. All right, let's talk next about where you hunt and how you hunt, because you're after trophy animals. So question, are you doing do-it-yourself hunts? Are you doing guided hunts? Are these all private land hunts? Or are they on public land, or is it a combination?
Well, I have a philosophy that if I do it all myself, I don't have anybody to blame but myself if things go wrong, and I can congratulate myself alone if I do things right. For that reason, and for the incredible challenge of it, I prefer to hunt with good friends or on my own. I don't go on guided hunts unless it's legally required. Some of my best friends are hunting outfitters, so I'm sure not knocking outfitted hunts, but I like to do my own research, hunt public land almost all the time, and only go on the outfitted hunts when it's legally required, like it is in parts of Canada and Alaska for some species.
Gotcha. Next question, the Super Slam. You've done it, but for our listeners who don't know, what is it and how did you manage to do this?
Well, the North American Super Slam is the taking of all varieties of animal recognized by the record book, particularly the Pope and Young archery record book. I was the first bow hunter ever to take a Super Slam in 1990. That's one of my claims to fame. And I did it because in the 1980s, I read about gun hunters who had taken all varieties of game. There were 27 varieties at the time. There are now 29. I've taken all 29 at this point. But I thought, how cool would it be to emulate my gun hunting heroes by taking all varieties with a bow and arrow? And in the process, I thought I would have incredible hunting variety. I love variety. I much prefer spot and stalk hunting over sitting on a stand. And most types of North American big game require spot and stalk hunting. So Right. It was perfect for me. So I just started chipping away at it. And in early 1990, I finally took the 27th variety.
What an incredible lifetime feat. And to think you did it 30 years ago. Now, you've got, like I said, 200 record book animals. Do you have some world records as well?
I have broken the world record 5 times with Pope Young Record Club, which is the granddaddy of all archery record clubs. I feel really fortunate. My boyhood hero, the late, great Fred Bear, had 2 world records in his life, and I more than doubled that, and I've been told that nobody else has taken more than 2 in the history of our sport. So that makes me feel pretty good.
Oh, it kind of makes you the Michael Jordan of the bow hunting world, for lack of a better term. Last but not least, you have a brand new website chock full of information at chuckadamsarchery.com. When people log on there, what are they going to find?
Well, this new website occurred because, as you know, print media is starting to go by the wayside in our electronic age, and I've always been a full-time writer, but now I have a little extra time because some of the magazines I've written for decades have gone by the wayside. So I started this new website. I blog on there regularly, sell memorabilia and specialized products like leather hip quivers and whatnot, sell some of my 10 books that I've written on the subject of archery, and just relay adventures that I've had and pass along tips about how to be a better bow hunter.
Well, if you want to be a better bow hunter, folks, I think that this is definitely a website you'll want to check out. The website, chuckadamsarchery.com. That's chuckadamsarchery.com. I think you're going to really enjoy what you find there. I know that I did. Chuck, it has been a real pleasure having you on today with America Outdoors Radio.
Thank you, John. Also, follow me on Facebook and Instagram at Chuck Adams Archery.
There you go, folks. Facebook, Instagram, Chuck Adams Archery, and that website again, chuckadamsarchery.com. Thanks again, Chuck.
Thank you.
And now it's time for something that's becoming a regular feature of this program.
It's record fish time.
We talk a lot about Lake Erie on this show because it's far and away one of the best, if not the very best, walleye fisheries in North America these days. But there's other fish in this big lake too, and some of those fish are pretty darn big. From the Fishing Wire, we learn Kirk Rudzinski, a 63-year-old resident of Erie, Pennsylvania, went fishing with a friend on April 9th. They were using live emerald shiners as bait on a pair of size 4 hooks, and according to Rudzinski, the fishing, it was pretty good. The two anchored in a new spot for the evening bite, and a few minutes before 7:30, Rudzinski got a really big bite. In fact, Rudzinski said he thought for sure he had hooked 2 perch on his 2 hooks, but when he got those hooks in towards the boat, he called for his partner to get the net because it was then he saw he just had 1 massive perch at the end of his line. They got that fish in the boat and went to Rudzinski's bait and tackle shop, the East End Angler, where they weighed the nearly 17-inch long perch and found out it was a 3-pound fish, edging out the previous record by 2 ounces. That fish, by the way, is going to be on display as a taxidermied mount at the East End Angler if you want to see it. Way to go, Kirk. 45 years of fishing Lake Erie paid off for you in a really big way this spring.
Congratulations on your new record.
As we wrap things up, I'd like to remind you about our Range Day giveaway from Henry Repeating Arms. Between now and Memorial Day, you get a chance to go to our Facebook page in America Outdoors Radio, like and follow the page, and then go to the post thread where we're doing this giveaway. We're giving away all sorts of great Henry logoed items that you can use at the range, like a .22 caliber ammo box, a dozen gun oil wipes, hearing protection from Otis, some paper targets to shoot at, and a really nice ball cap, again, with the Henry logo on it. All you have to do is just let us know what city and state you're from. If you want a bonus entry, let us know what station you're listening to as well. Like I said, we will give away this package, this Range Day package, to 1 lucky winner on Memorial Day. And if you want to find out more about these accessories and others from Henry Repeating Arms, just go to their website at henryusa.com. It's time to go, and whether you're heading to the range yourself this week or maybe heading out to the lake for some fishing, to a river or stream to cast a fly, or into the woods for one last shot at turkey where the seasons are still open, I hope you have much success in the days ahead. I also hope you are blessed and that you are well, and until next week, do remember this. It is your country and your outdoors, so get out there and enjoy it.
Hunting is conservation. At the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation, we salute hunters for providing the majority of conservation funding across the U.S. Join us for our annual fundraising banquet to benefit wildlife and the mission of the RMEF.